Me again, so you've made it even farther than the last time we talked. That must mean we are done our second semester and we are almost ready for our next placement. Hopefully, I've come a long way since day one, and today I'm going to share with you how I've developed my vision for teaching. I have a working definition of my vision for teaching and learning. This is after carefully going through my DLP and finding common themes through my responses. So with that being said, my vision for teaching and learning is to foster an environment whereby students are enabled to reach and expand their potential, to create an environment of respect and inclusion that adheres to every learner's needs and addresses the diverse set of learning styles. So let's dive in and take a look at some of my weekly responses and see where my vision lays in terms of my responses throughout the semester. In week 1, I focus on how education is in society, and I discuss that I think education essentially informs society. Moreover, I state that education helps build character as well as the necessary skills for students to push themselves. My vision for teaching focuses on enabling students to reach and go beyond their potential, and this goes hand in hand with building the necessary skills to do so. I think that my vision fits really nicely here, as I stated in week 1 that I want to be a teacher because I want to be able to give that fighting chance to everyone so they can be the best version of themselves. Lastly, I focus on how I will ensure to be accommodating to each learning style and modify anything if need be. This also fits with my vision. I feel like after creating my vision, I could include more about inclusivity and how I will contribute to an educational community through fostering an environment of inclusivity. That's because individuals will not be able to reach their full potential if the environment I have created is not inclusive. So, week 2, look at me getting past my first week without any stress. I would say that my responses here have formed my vision because I do believe it is important to access updated information and to stay informed with this range of information that we have available to us within the teaching practices. One thing here I would say would be difficult within my vision, and this week's discussion would be that my vision involves adhering to every learner's needs and style. That's extremely difficult and time-consuming to keep up with all the pedagogy that is relevant to learning needs and styles, as it is ever-changing. However, I have a responsibility as a future educator, and I will ensure I am filtering and educating as much as possible. I feel like I have a misconception in week 2, and that was that I needed to cover every pedagogy there is and everything that they have to say, but I need to take what applies to me and know my learners well enough to know what resources I need to seek out. Week 1 and 2 really set my foundation for my vision, but we're gonna fast forward to week 9 now. In week 9, my vision really comes full circle. I focus on the ethical standards of teaching that are outlined on the OCT website of care, respect, trust, and integrity. So in week 9, I talk specifically about how I'm going to represent those standards of practice in my classroom. And since my vision focuses on inclusivity and adhering to learners' needs and styles, I think that really comes full circle as I outline these ethical standards, and it just shows how invested I am on inclusivity in my classroom and how I want to foster an environment whereby these standards are being upheld. So let's go back in time to week 3, where my vision is really represented. So this week's pedagogy, documents, theories, and research essentially make up my vision. My entire vision is based around inclusivity and respect. That was what the focus of my responses in week 3 were. Week 3 responses look at UDL and DI, and that's essentially what my vision is. And when I picture my future classroom, I want to be able to provide students with an environment that resembles UDL and DI techniques. So my vision incorporates all of the UDL practices. Here's an overview of Durham College website, and it provides UDL information, why it's important, the principles that are in it, and this kind of suggests the framework of UDL maximizes learning opportunities for all. So my vision for teaching and learning focuses on creating an environment to include the range and diverse set of learners in the principles of UDL and DI to ensure that these needs are met. The overarching idea of my vision looks essentially at the UDL and DI practices, and in order for students to reach their full potential, I need to make sure I am setting up their learning environment in the most effective way. One critique I would have with my current vision in terms of UDL and DI would just be that my vision is a big one. I feel like I will need to continue to do my best to adhere to learning styles and needs, but I just need to remember that little things go a long way, and take these big takeaways and put them into smaller takeaways that I can practice, and I will get there because I know I can.